In 1940s Soviet Russia, scientists conducted an experiment so horrific it was buried for decades. It was called the Russian sleep experiment. 5 prisoners were locked in a sealed chamber, exposed to an experimental gas meant to eliminate sleep. The results were beyond anything they expected. Now, disturbing new evidence has surfaced, suggesting the experiment was real. And it wasn't the last time they tried it. The experiment begins. Soviet researchers selected 5 political prisoners and promised them freedom if they participated in a classified sleep study. They were placed in a sealed chamber, where they were constantly observed. Instead of sleeping, they were kept awake by a stimulant gas. For the first 3 days, everything seemed normal. By day 4, their behavior turned erratic. They whispered into the microphones, talking about dark things, things that hadn't happened yet. By day 6, they stopped talking altogether. They only stared at the cameras, as if they knew something the scientists didn't. Then, on day 9, the screaming began. Something went horribly wrong. The subjects began tearing at their skin, ripping out their fingernails. One man clawed his own eyes out but never stopped laughing. Another screamed until his vocal cords snapped. The rest? They sat still, whispering to something unseen. The researchers panicked. They shut off the gas and prepared to enter the chamber. That's when the screaming stopped. What they found inside. When scientists finally opened the chamber, they recoiled in horror. The floor was covered in blood and flesh. One subject was dead, torn open by his own hands. But the others? They were alive, but not human anymore. They had ripped open their own bodies, exposing muscle and bone, yet they felt no pain. One turned to the scientists and smiled. Then he whispered, "We are awake now." Disturbing new evidence. For years, this story was dismissed as fiction. But recent declassified documents suggest otherwise. In 2021, a leaked Soviet file revealed Project Nochnik, a top-secret Russian experiment testing sleep deprivation as a weapon. The documents describe prisoners placed in sealed rooms, exposed to stimulant gases. Most went insane. Some died. But a few survived, and changed. According to reports, these survivors couldn't be sedated. They stayed awake for weeks, even months. And when they finally closed their eyes, they died instantly. The last survivor. The most disturbing part? In 1992, a man was admitted to a Moscow psychiatric hospital. He had no record, no identity. But doctors discovered something chilling. He hadn't slept in 40 years. When they asked how, he only said, "The gas never left my lungs." That was his last recorded statement. 2 days later, he vanished from his locked room. No one ever saw him again. The experiment never ended. If the Russian sleep experiment was just a story, then why do classified reports confirm its existence? And more importantly, what happened to the survivors? Some say they're still out there, never sleeping, always watching. And if you ever see someone who never blinks, run.